Hey there besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm analysing 2012 Raph, who's been frequently requested. There's obviously something about Raphael I'm gonna get into, but I've noticed it hasn't been looked into by anyone yet, which I find strange. This thing in question would be his quite obvious anger issues. Disclaimer before I get too ahead here, I'd like to put out a trigger warning for mental health discussion as well as a trigger warning for mentions of past traumas. If you feel you cannot handle these things, I'd recommend clicking off and finding either a cool TikTok compilation or something else. I'm not a licensed mental health professional either. Please don't use anything I talk about to self-diagnose, and do not take my words as canon to the series either. Thank you, and back to the video. So, what's the deal with Raph's anger issues? It's no secret that he's lost his temper on many occasions throughout the show. So I want to delve into and figure out three things. Why he experiences these outbursts, what his outbursts stem from, and how this affects him. In order to figure out why he experiences these uncontrollable moments of anger, we first have to recognize his triggers. Based on my experience watching TMNT, I found that Raph's anger is mostly triggered by teasing or taunts, or what he perceives as them. It doesn't seem to matter where this mockery comes from, whether it's one of his brothers, friends, or an enemy mid-battle. Either way, he'll react the same to the jeering by yelling insults in anger or even resorting to physical aggression. In the instance of aggression towards his brothers, this looks like punching, shoving, or smacking. In the instance of losing his temper around an enemy, all sense of strategy flies out the window, just like Leo in the season 2 finale, and he literally just goes for the kill in a blind fury. Compared to his brothers, this temper seems to be a trait unique to him, so why does Raph react that way? An early episode called Turtle Temper actually sort of takes a look at this. The episode focuses on Raph's anger issues with Master Splinter explaining to Raph his past with the Shredder. Splinter notes one specific occasion that Orokosaki insulted him and he lost it on him. Raph's response to this was as follows.
But it wasn't your fault. Shredder insulted you. You had no choice.
So from this, I think it's clear that Raph's anger is something out of his control. He feels he has no choice but to react that way, like it's the only way he can cope with the situation properly. And while he does calm his temper in that episode, he reverts right back to being triggered by insults for basically the rest of the series. It appears to be something he genuinely cannot manage or control. And this inability to control anger, as it turns out, could be a sign that Raph has IED. Otherwise known as intermittent explosive disorder. Those dealing with IED, as this Healthline article suggests, react to small things in big ways, often being incredibly mad over seemingly little things. For Raph, these small events could be mockery or taunting. And especially in his brother's case, the teasing comes from a joking, harmless position, but to Raph, he sees it as an attack, and he can't help but become upset. And another thing about IED is that not all triggers are obvious. So Raph's quote-unquote teasing, where he makes mean comments towards or hits his brothers for seemingly no reason, could be a result of his IED being triggered for a vague or unknown reason. Luckily, the article I was researching had a causes section for IED. Seeing as how Splinter is a relatively chill guy, I highly doubt Raph's IED stems from genetics. However, the environment section is interesting. I found this lovely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Legends cutscene brought to us by the lovely Alex Greenland. Unfortunately, I couldn't add this to my sources playlist because of the way it has been formatted. This cutscene gives us a look into the boys' early childhood. So the Krang are actively seeking the turtles, and Splinter has to fight these Krang bots and flee, all with his sons in tow. This speaks volumes for what a chunk of their childhood must have been like, constantly witnessing violence like that. This isn't dissing Splinter at all. Obviously, to keep the turtles safe, it had to be done. These battles may have stuck with Raph as he developed, however, resulting in these aggressive tendencies. So after figuring out why he gets angry, naturally I wanted to figure out where this stems from. It is highly possible that his IED may just be attributed to a difference in his brain chemistry. Obviously there is no evidence to prove this one, but that still stands as a possibility. Now that we have clues as to where it may stem from, let's take a look at how this affects Raph. So I have a little fun activity for you guys. Yay! You get to do some psychology with me! I want you to look at another clip from Turtle Temper that I'm about to show you, and just notice how Raph's body language is when he realizes he's about to lose his temper. He's just been through a training session for context, and this training session has exposed how his fury blinds him from strategical fighting, so he's just been made aware of the detriments his anger has. So yeah, just take a look at his body language and like just how he reacts to realizing he's about to lose his cool again.
Let's do it.
Understood.
Hi, Sensei.
He looks at Mikey with his fist up, ready to get aggressive. But then a look of shock or maybe fear comes across his face as he then looks at his hand. To me, it screams, "What am I doing? Was I really about to hurt my brother?"
Often after these bouts of anger, feelings like guilt and shame over the prior behavior tend to come about, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Raph is aware of his anger, feels these emotions to an extent about how he acts. That begs the question though, why doesn't he ever really show this guilt? Why does he rarely ever apologize if he feels he's done something wrong? The answer is quite simple. He's not experiencing guilt per se, he's experiencing shame. According to this article from the University of New Hampshire, guilt can help one recognize they've done something wrong and encourage them to make things right again. In contrast to this, shame encourages the opposite. It leaves the individual with a much less positive sense of self, and from experience with low self-esteem in the past, I can verify that that's very tiring emotionally and mentally. Based on this, I would think Raph struggles with low self-esteem thanks to the shame, and he's left so mentally drained from his negative perceptions of self that he can't bring himself to apologize. That's about all I gathered from 2012 Raph. To summarize my points, Raph is IED and finds it practically impossible to control his angry outbursts. Raph's anger issues either stem from events from his childhood or could be chalked up to differences in his brain structure. Raph's IED leaves him feeling ashamed so strong, he is then left drained and unable to right his wrongs. Before closing this video, I found this picture on Pinterest, and I feel like it needed screen time, it deserved screen time, so here you go, do with it what you will. I'm also just going to quickly note before closing the video that this just merely explains Raph's aggressive behavior towards others, and it is no way meant to justify it. Anyways, now that that's all out of the way, thank you so much for watching my video. If you did like what you saw, please consider leaving a like or subscribing, or even just leaving your thoughts or opinions in the comments section below. I'll try to get to every one of you, and I'm so sorry if it takes me a little while to get to you or that I don't get to you at all. Sometimes that happens. My notifications don't always tell me who comments. So thank you for leaving your thoughts and responses, and thank you so much for supporting my channel, besties. I love you so much. So slay all day or all night, wherever you are.